Wide Sports Radio Network. I'm your host, CJ the Painkiller D. Simone, back from getting my first COVID shot, which was last week. And holy cow, man, it completely and utterly kicked my ass. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to have any sound drops or anything like that because obviously I'm having streaming issues, as per always. So, let me introduce you to my squadron over here. We've got Jimmy the Reaper Jardine from his top secret bunker over there in Bumble Hell, wherever. And we've got
I'm still in Indiana.
The man with the master plan. The plan, rocking the glass of rum and whatever else he's got over there. Mr. Kevin Jackson.
With the pinky out. With the pinky out.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
right.
I got the pinky out. We got tonight. We're rocking some Henderson. But I also,
yeah, we're in.
I'm doing good, CJ. I not only do I have the Henderson whiskey for tonight, but I also decided that I wanted to feel like a Viking.
All right.
So I brought the big mug.
Oktoberfest up in this piece. Oktoberfest, straight up.
About to do the chicken dance on WWSRN, baby.
Right.
All right. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk tonight about Jets Titans. All right.
Yes.
Jets getting a huge 27-24 victory over the Tennessee Titans in overtime. A win which was much needed, not only for the morale of Jets, but also to the message that the New York Jets and Zach Wilson have in fact arrived. Now, again, I don't want to guzzle the Kool-Aid on air. Mr. Scott Cleesby, if you're in the chat, I haven't checked the chat yet. I'm sure it's going to be.
I will.
So, but nevertheless, you know what? Jets get their first win. It was a hard-fought win. Offense kind of went up and down and sputtered. We saw that the defense at the beginning of the game really was the key catalyst to keeping the Jets within this game. I know that the Titans were out some key personnel, most notably A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. But you know what? You play who's on the play, who's active for the 53-man roster. But and the Jets were able to go ahead. Unfortunately, guys, I have a question for you, which I'm actually going to bring up at some point. But first, we're going to go around the room. Kevin, we're going to start. Give me your thoughts on the Jets title. Go back around to Jimmy, and then I'm going to have my thought, because I personally think, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sticking by this, and I don't care who's got a problem with it, got screwed in the fourth quarter of that game.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on that, to be honest with you. And I'll just say this. Obviously, as a Jets fan, I'm excited about a win, right? But I'm not as excited as I think I will be if we beat the Atlanta Falcons next week, because we have, again, what appears to be a favorable matchup. But I think all of us as Jets fans know that over the course of the past decade or so, after we've won games, we've come out flatter than I almost said something inappropriate, but anyways, we've come out really flat in games following wins. And to be just as blunt as possible, I don't really care about any of that. I really need to see that we're going to come out focused and that, we're going to still play competitive football even after we taste a little success. And I think that bodes well for how it is that we finish the season. So, yeah, I'm excited. Look, there were very, very good things that we can be excited about, including defense going forward. I think we saw some things on offense, but we're still not exactly where it is that we need to be. We're probably not going to be exactly where it is that we need or expect to be until after the bye week, when we start getting some folks back, including Mr. Mekhi Becton, who, for all of the conversation about how many players Tennessee was missing during that game, I think we actually were missing more of what makes us the team that we're actually going to be, and we still won. And if we're going to be honest about this, Carl Lawson, I think, makes us a number one defense. I think Mekhi Becton makes us a better offense. I think some of the other guys, like the safeties that we were missing, If you really think about it, I don't even know who the guys that were starting. They actually played well, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we go on and talk about what's going to shake out in our defensive backfield. But to Jimmy's point, and again, my guy was on point. Our defensive backfield is still looking pretty tight, man. Even with no names, right? Even with guys that we don't even know, we're still playing
no
well.
names yet.
Exactly.
No names yet.
That was the point, right? We didn't know who they were, but we will, and people are getting to know pretty quickly right now. So I'm not going to talk about this all night. We're going to get in. Jim, my man, where you at? What do you think?
I'm a lot happier about this than most people. Let's talk about first and foremost. I'm gonna have to say this before I drink too much more of this Henderson or this Viking mug. I'm gonna have to say this now, because we're on Worldwide Sports Radio Network, so I'm gonna keep it clean, folks.
Thank you.
But people saying, "Oh well, the Jets didn't have to face A.J. Brown or Julio Jones." Well, 3 teams did face A.J. Brown and Julio Jones this year. And those 3 teams allowed Julio Jones and A.J. Brown to combine for a total of 296 passing or receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Now, can you argue that Brown and Jones not being on the roster kind of made it a little more one-dimensional? Yes, you can argue that. But when has Tennessee ever been not one-dimensional? When has it ever not, since Derrick Henry was put on the field, when has it ever not been the King Henry show?
That's a phenomenal point.
So you want to tell me that the only reason the Jets lost is because 2 of the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL weren't on the field? And I'll give you that. I'll give you the fact that A.J. Brown and Julio Jones can legitimately be argued are top 10 wide receivers. But
not so far.
That never meant anything before.
Not so far.
So why is it that the 3 teams that played them before weren't told, oh, well, they only played well because Julio Jones and A.J. Brown didn't do very good? Why isn't that the topic of conversation? Why is it that the Jets are always the low-hanging fruit and that we can't get a win unless the stars and planets align and all of a sudden the football gods smile down upon the lowly New York Jets for one weekend? Why is that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think it's a thing at all. You have Carl Lawson in this defensive scheme that is a legitimate double-digit sack guy. You can say that just based on the numbers. The Jets had 7 sacks on Ryan Tannehill against a good offensive line. A good offensive line, folks. Now, why is that being taken away? Why are our corners that have a total of 2 years NFL experience between the 6 of them and a total of $3 million in cap hit?
Wow.
Why is that not a topic of conversation?
That's
why?
Even more impressive.
Yeah, if it was Revis and Cromartie back there, and we take the Titans, yeah, sure. A.J. Brown and Julio Jones weren't out there. I totally agree.
Yeah, sure.
But they're not. It's Javelin Guidry. It's Bryce Hall.
Who's balling?
It's Brandon Eccles.
Who's balling also.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
But if it's not Revis Island and Cromartie on the other side locking both number 1 and number 2 wide receivers down, why is it a knock on the Jets? I don't understand that. Why can the media not let us have that? Why is it such a controversial thing that the Jets just dominated on defense? Why is it such a controversial thing that after the first quarter, everything just happened to click for Zach Wilson? Let's not forget that if you look at Zach Wilson's adjusted stats for this whole season, 35% of his on-target throws have been dropped by Corey Davis, by Braxton Berrios. Why is that not a topic of conversation? You take that adjusted stats out, Zach Wilson's over 70% completion percentage. Why is that not a thing? How do I feel? The Jets have arrived, baby.
Yeah, man.
We still need to iron it out.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we're there yet.
Yeah.
We still need to iron it out. We still got some stuff to work on. But
we're at the party now, though, right? We may not be on the dance floor popping just yet.
We kicked the front door down.
We walked in and we walked in. We're on our way to the bar. That's what I'm talking about right now.
Cheers to that, Kev.
On our way to the bar. What do you think?
Yeah,
CJ?
I agree with that, because one of the biggest things, that the defense, again, had to be relied upon in order to keep the offense in this game. And I saw that the offense struggled, which, again, I thought that this was going to be much ado about nothing in regards to what we saw. And when I first tuned into the game, I was a little bit aggravated because, again, we started seeing that we saw in Denver. Now, mind you, it wasn't an offensive collapse, but the problem was that I saw a lot of the same tendencies where it looked like the chains were on Zach Wilson. I don't know about anybody else, but I know that Michael Floor, a student Shanahan offense, and so on and so forth, I felt like that they were trying to keep things way too safe and trying to get Zach Wilson to play, quote, boring, that Robert Saleh play so that way he's able to protect football. When in actuality, we saw that more bootlegs, RPOs, more design rollouts, more shifting and protection, actually much better as the game went along. I mean, come on now. We saw the kid on the run flick his arm and chuck the ball 53 yards down the field. Okay,
60.
We saw Zach Wilson do his best Josh McCown impression. All right, and actually go and chuck the ball into the end zone. Corey Davis in the end zone to catch the ball.
That traveled 60 yards in the air.
I'm not going to sit here and it's a crazy. One of the things that we do know, we have a quarterback who can get the ball down the field, so we can push the deep, and that's something that's, in my opinion, it's cool. Okay, but at the same right, we need to see this on a consistent week in and week out basis. We saw this or stuff like this in the second quarter of the Panthers game in week 1, a game in which I believe that had we not allowed ourselves to dig ourselves a hole in the first half, probably could have come back and actually won the game. That we had the disaster in New England, in which I still feel like it was a winnable game, but Zach Wilson kind of felt like he was in over his head, and the same thing before. Third game was, to me, when the wheels completely came off the wagon against the Denver Broncos. And it started to look the same exact way at the beginning of this game. Now, I know I just pointed that out earlier in my diatribe, but I'm doing this. And the reason being is because as much confidence and as much faith as we put in Michael Floor, I still feel like that even after this game, the New York Jets should still bring in a consultant, because I think that as much as he knows about the Shanahan offense, as much as he knows about different things, different aspects of this offense, I want to see this offense become more consistent. I'm not expecting them to score every time they touch the ball, but I'm sick and tired of the damn 3-and-outs. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the having to acquiesce field position. The offense can't pull its head out of its ass long enough to take a deep breath. That being said, why is it that we needed to wait until the second half of the game in order for this offense to get clicking? Now, what I'm complaining about, gentlemen, in regards to this win, is exactly what I talked about the entire offseason. Competitive sustainability, number one, and number two, competitive functionality of offense. That this offense can be functional. We saw that this offense can be fundamental. We saw that this offense can not only rely on the deep pass, but can also get the running game to take the pressure off of Zach Wilson. What my question is for you gentlemen, is this the game in London that we finally put it all together for a full 60 minutes? We compete for a full 60 minutes where I don't see guys quit on the play. Goal. You already beat a team you had no business beating in the Tennessee Titans. Because I'm going to tell you something, go and look back at the news clippings before the Jets played this game. Nobody gave the New York Giants in this game. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what side of the fence you read. I don't newspaper you read. I don't care what 4-net or a 3-letter or a 2-letter or a 1-letter network you follow. And whatever talking heads want to talk out of their ass when it comes to the New York Jets. But you know what? This was a paper that people had us losing. And the reason why the national media has been quiet this week is because we beat somebody we had no business beating. And you can come with every excuse that you want. No A.J. Brown, no Julio Jones, Derrick Henry only ran for this month. There were people saying that Derrick Henry was going to run for 500 yards.
Derrick Henry was pretty lumped up after the game. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know about you.
One thing that I want to see is I want to see the New York Jets offense from start to finish go toe-to-toe with whoever it is that you're facing. I understand the opposing team's defenses, you're going to get those 3 and outs. I understand you're going to get miscommunications on routes. I understand that you're going to get different things that are going to happen at different times. But here's the thing. The thing that I want to see is I don't want my damn defense on the field for 70 to 75% of the game. That's what I don't want.
Got your wish.
And that's why, as happy as I am about the and beating the Titans, still saw stuff that I didn't like.
We lost the time of possession by a few minutes, and I still think that we were more effective in what it is that we did on offense. I just to your point though, CJ, because I think it's a valid point. We were talking about kind of the training wheels coming off, right? A lot of the conversation has been about when it clicks for Zach Wilson. I think when it clicks for Zach Wilson, I think that means it would have clicked for Mike LaFleur, right? And that is really why it is, I think, that we saw some of what it is that we saw towards the end of the game. We've been it's almost like playing a prevent defense, right? You're playing not to lose, but more than likely you're going to end up giving chunks of yards. You're going to give up time of possession. I mean, you're going to give up, an opportunity to, kind of put your foot on the throat and kind of make sure that you go into, a situation where you need to kind of make a statement, and you're going to kind of give up the goal, like you say. So
not if you play cover 0.
Yeah, well, there we are. But the reality is that even that last little drive where Tannehill kind of drove down the field, I think that was because they're playing a little too conservative. We're still a young team. We haven't learned how to put these games away yet. And even Zach alluded to that with the play that really kind of could have sealed the game, right? That out to Corey Davis. If he hits that out to Corey Davis, game over. You know what I'm saying? Game over. We're not seeing that out to Corey Davis.
Kev, I said that on my stream because I do watch parties during the game, and I said that when Corey, there was just a little bit overthrown, and I was like, I'm like, Corey Davis catches that first down.
That's it.
I mean, even if we go 3 and out, Tennessee only has 40 seconds to march down the field.
Exactly.
Look, instead of a minute and a half.
What I also noticed about that play, and maybe this is me nitpicking a little bit, but if you notice, Corey Davis goes up, he's reaching up, right? And then he yanks his hand down at the last minute because he doesn't want to deflect it and quite possibly cause an interception, which is what we've seen multiple times
from
you know,
him,
from
but he needs to
exactly.
get that out of his head.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
if the quarterback's got to have a short memory, so does that receiver.
So does he.
Now,
Exactly.
Corey Davis has caused a couple interceptions for Zach Wilson. Let's not get it twisted. And I touted Corey Davis from the start back in February.
I think we all
And I'm not against. I'm pissed that he has played this way to this point, but the fact of the matter is you got to let that go, man. You got to let it go. If you feel you can catch that ball, put your hands up and catch that ball.
Go get it, man.
Plain and simple.
That's what number ones do. They go get them, right? That's an opportunity to go get them.
Plain and simple. And let's not forget that the fact of the matter is I love what Zach said in his post game and really every press conference since, you know, being talked to. Everybody's asking him, how do you feel? How was that win? He's like, I should have been able to put it away in the fourth. And he's absolutely right. Zach Wilson should have been able to put it away in the fourth, but he's a rookie. It's a new playbook. Every single player on this team is wrapping their head around this. Okay. They're all coming together at the same time, and that's okay. Now, remember, Kev, what I said last week is we talked about this and said going into the Tennessee game, LaFleur just needs to cut him loose.
Basically.
Because the Chargers are the only team that have ever made the playoffs after
the start.
Yeah. But
look,
but
this is that's part of the problem, right? Because I think that what it is that we're seeing them all kind of mature on the fly right now.
Right.
You know, they're not allowing Zach to make mistakes, right? Which unfortunately, as much as you know, we're talking about interceptions, and I don't think we're really talking a lot about interceptions, because I think that we really know that a lot of those interceptions, notwithstanding what happened in New England, I think a lot of those interceptions were you know, not necessarily Zach making horrible mistakes, right? I think that's that's what happens when you have players and when you have, you know, a team that really hasn't played well together. So that kind of let them down. Exactly. Well, we have an opportunity right now to watch Mike LaFleur say, you know what, let's go ahead, let's ball.
But
just let him ball.
That was my point last week. I said only the Chargers have been the only team to ever make the playoffs after starting 0-4. Right? It's only happened once in NFL history. We were 0-3. What have you got to lose? Cut them loose. Kev, I said it to you.
Let's go. Yeah, I know. I remember. Trust me.
And they did.
And I say this and because I was saying that we were going to need to, you know, maybe revise our win total, or at least I was thinking that maybe I was going to do that because I expected us to win. I
still say 10, man. I'm looking at the schedule.
And I'm still there. But I also say this.
It's down from 11. It's down from 11.
I think we split with the Patriots. I think we sweep Miami. And I think the possibility is we split with Buffalo. And I think that gives us a pretty damn good chance.
Guys.
I think that gives us a pretty good chance, yeah, man, to come out of the AFC East with no less than the wild card. And if we get, you know, we saw the Giants. If you get in, that's all you need. You just need to get in.
DJ, and, you know, shout out to DJ BNMA.
No, yeah,
Dolphins suck, bro.
He's been on it. I mean, it's not his fault. He's actually been a little bit contrite about that. He's a little contrite about that. But
I just think it's funny, especially after he told me that I was crazy to think that the Carolina Panthers were going to get Sam Darnold. But you know, it's just, you know, what are you going to do? Yeah. What are you going to do?
I'm sure we're going to talk about that a little while later on, also, because there's some knucklehead folks out there that still believe that we were mistaken by trading away Sam and picking up Zach. And I think that if you didn't watch this past game against Tennessee and saw what Zach is capable of, and you still want Sam, I can't trust your judgment going forward. And any take that you have is really going to be just kind of nonsensical. I'm probably just going to blow it off.
It took Zach Wilson 4 games to tell a veteran wide receiver what to do because Zach Wilson knows he's the boss. It took Zach Wilson 4 games to do that, guys. That is insane. Zach Wilson is the leader of that team. Period.
Spit that.
Look at all the little Jets content
So-
from the New York Jets Facebook. Just real quick, I just want to mention this because I've not seen this for any other team. They have. I love what the New York Jets
fire
do.
away, bro.
They put the camera out there, right, outside of One Jets Drive, and then they put a poster board below it with some stat or with some question.
Yeah.
Well, they put this poster board out there, and it said Zach Wilson gets Rookie of the Week for Week 4.
Yeah,
Every single person on that team. Let's get him another one.
right.
Let's do this.
Let's go.
Zach, baby. Of course that happened.
He earned
Why
it.
didn't it happen sooner?
Right.
Like all throughout that little 2-minute video clip. That shows you that Zach Wilson has the respect of this franchise from top to bottom, from the players to the front office to the owners.
Gotta love it.
And that's what we need.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, amen to that. All right, so real quick before we start going on to our segments and stuff like that, I alluded to a play in the fourth quarter, and that was Gerard Wilson supposedly a hair early for defensive pass interference on a 4th and 10. Look, I'm sorry. I know Worldwide Sports Radio Network are going to be mad at me for what I'm about to say, but that call was bullshit. Straight up bullshit. Because I went and looked at that play from about 4 different angles. And do you want to know something? There is no way in hell that if Gerard Davis came to a complete stop and allowed that receiver to try and catch that ball was uncatchable. Homie was going to stick his hands out. The ball was going to hit him in the hand, drop to the ground. Sorry. You know what? You can disagree with you want to disagree with me all you want. Say whatever you want. Oh, CJ, you're wrong. You know nothing about football. You know your typical bullshit that you guys like to spew in the chat. But you know what? I'm sorry. And the flag stayed in the ref's pocket because that, in my opinion, is why the game ended up going to overtime. Gentlemen, your thoughts. We'll start with Jimmy this time, and then we'll go to Kevin.
I hate bad calls, man, but let's just be real about this. I think bad calls
NFL officiating is trash.
It's awful. I'm not saying otherwise. Okay, so don't cut my head off for this one, all right? But let's just be real. Look at Week 1, Thursday Night Football. What was it? Bucks, Cowboys, right?
Mm.
Everybody was like, refs handing Tampa Bay, refs handing Tom Brady another win, blah, blah, blah.
They do that.
Well, are we what? Cowboys lost by what, 2, right, Kev?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah. Barely.
Well, why isn't anybody blaming Zerline for missing 2 field goals and an extra point?
You know what?
So
we're gonna just I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You left
no.
on the field
My
there.
point. My point on it though, CJ. My point on the whole thing is yes, bad calls happen, and I think there needs to be massive reform in NFL officiating.
Facts.
Massive reform. I think there needs to be some form of punishment to officials that make these crap calls that have impacts on the flow of the game. I'm not, and I say the flow of the game because I don't want to dismiss 59 and a half minutes of football to say that one call in the last 30 seconds determined a win. You know what I mean? So I think there should be very big consequences for officials that make these stupid calls. Saints in the playoffs, what was it, 2019? Pass interference call from the Saints.
The Rams.
Like,
man.
Yeah, Saints, Rams.
Horrible
that
miss.
stuff, that official should be fired. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
No,
But
no, no playoffs ever again. I couldn't, even if you don't fire him,
Ever.
that sanction should
that
be
guy
enforced.
is relegated to preseason football until he starts getting his playoffs, until he starts getting his calls right.
Right.
So, like, yes, there are calls that do determine the outcome of a game. I'm not denying that there's, but those calls are very, very, very few and far between. Okay, so I have to put that out there because I'm being objective on this. So yes, Gerard Davis, that call, crap call. I'm not saying it wasn't, but there was a lot. Zach Wilson said it himself. There was a lot of stuff that Zach Wilson could have done that could have put that game away beforehand.
Yeah.
So that's, yes, in that scenario, CJ, that's why the game went to overtime. You could argue that, but the 7 minutes beforehand where the Jets offense could have put it away negate that bad call, in my opinion.
Let me just follow that up just real quick, and then CJ, we'll kick it back to you. This is really where we've watched our quarterback say the right thing, right? For years, for multiple regimes, multiple quarterbacks, we've watched them stand up at the podium and take responsibility for certain things, and really just kind of speak to, oh yeah, we've got to do better, blah blah blah. I think it's a little different when we listen to Zach, because I think Zach does a much better of explaining why, right? It makes more sense.
Yes.
From a football standpoint, when you listen to Zach speak on it, like Zach just doesn't sit up there and say, I just got to be better.
I got to do better next week. I got to try
my
better.
Teammates, my teammates count on me to do such and such. Zach sits up there as on that 3rd and 3 play. The safety does the XYZ and the corner does XYZ, and we had the right read, and I just I missed the throw, and that is the type of, that's what you want to see. When you're talking about somebody saying the right thing, that's the right thing to say. I had to reevaluate what it meant to me to hear somebody say the right thing. Because you can speak to the political, but he was actually giving detail about what's the right thing. I love it.
That is such a great point, Kevin. I don't mean to interject here, but that is such a great point, because we have just gone through 3 years of a quarterback just. There's a difference between telling the fans this is on me, but we have 3 years of Sam Darnold saying, gosh, guys, I just got to do better. Yeah. Okay, we know you got to do better, man. Stop telling us you got to do better and actually do better. Zach Wilson goes into these interviews and he says, guys, I got to do better because this is what happened on this play and I missed it. Yeah. I should have done this. I should have thought of this. I should have moved this way. He explains how he understands what messed up.
Exactly.
Instead of just saying, gosh.
Right? It sounds like
it could be better.
It sounds like Zach is actually talking to people that know football instead of just talking to the random fan.
Man,
right?
He's not dumbing it down. I love it.
It's not like he's just speaking to the random fan who really doesn't know jack about what it is that they're watching. He's actually talking to people. Or he's talking like he's talking to people, because half of us don't know what the hell we're watching. But the reality is that
Costello, they don't know nothing. So come on, whatever.
They follow the beat, but do they watch football? Like, do they follow football? I'm not even. I digress on that. But Zach right now, what Zach is doing, I think, is transforming the way that we look at those press conferences and what it is that we as fans can take away from it. And us, all of us here, who really kind of do deep dive into the X's and O's and who really do kind of understand how the players themselves impact what goes on in the game, instead of just giving some random ass, oh, you shouldn't have done this or you shouldn't have done that. We can see things that unfold and how they unfold, and we can speak to some of the details to what is what. And as much as I wanted to kind of give McGovern his little props when he had the little thing, talking about, you don't know what it is that you're watching. I think that is the opposite of what it is that we're seeing Zach do, right? Because he didn't elaborate. He was just like, oh, yeah, I was doing my job. Yeah, it didn't look like it, because if you're the veteran, that still shouldn't happen. It still shouldn't happen. So what you should have been like, yo, we got to do better. I've got to do a better job I've got to do a better job of communicating, because if I had communicated this effectively, this would not exist. Right.
Bingo. And
that's not what it is that they're doing. But Zach speaks to those things. And Robert Saleh, I think, actually said it the other day when he was talking about how, we just want the kid the ball. We just want him the ball. We're going to give him we're going to give him the opportunity to do what it is that he needs to do. And Mike LaFleur, I think, actually finally let go of the tighty whities, and he let his balls hang, and he says, "Look, Zach, we're going to let you ball, man." And Zach took the reins, man. And if that's what we're building on, I'm in good shape.
Dude, for real. Like, the thing about it is you talk about like what Saleh said is when it was about a week ago. It was right after the Denver game, and he said, "Hey man, Zach is dealing with every single bad thing that you could ever think of," and
it's gonna make it
this
better.
game just proved Saleh right, man, because Saleh said, "Hey, but when it clicks, trust me,
it's gonna get ugly.
You're gonna see it."
I said this early in the season, and I'm gonna stand by this, and then CJ, I'm gonna pass it to you. Okay. I said originally that the reason why I had the win total that I did was because my expectation is that we're going to score a lot of points.
Yeah.
Right. I think we're going to score in bunches. And the one thing, we haven't seen Amendola, kind of, kick the 50, 55s that I'm expecting that they're probably going to do later on in the season when the coaches actually stop playing scared a little bit. Right. Because I think the coaches have been playing a little scared up until this point. And once they do that, a 4,000-yard season for Zach Wilson is going to be like, if he doesn't throw for 4,000 yards, it was a disappointment of a
bad
season.
year.
If we don't score 25, 30 points a game, 24, 30 points a game, then I think that's going to be where the Jets had a bad game. The offense, didn't do what it did. I've been saying every week that I think that we need to see a better running game. I think we need to see a better, production from our running backs, and that is going to open up what it is that Zach does best. We're still kind of not there, but we've seen now what Zach can do if given an opportunity. And if we can run if we can run in front of that, because that's where it is that we need to run in front of that. If we can run in front of that, there's no team in the league that's going to be able to stop us because our defense is lights out right now. Talk about it, CJ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honest with you, in my opinion, right now, even with all the injuries that we have on there, we're a top 10 defense. And I think this defense is 100% healthy and everybody is back on the field, all defense in the NFL. That's just my opinion. So you want to say I'm guzzling Kool-Aid and I'm this and that and the third? No, I don't think so. It's because over the first 4 games, this is the body of proof that the New York Jets have put forward, that all of the question marks that in regards to the secondary, in regards to backing core, in regards to the pass rush, the Jets are answering those questions, and they continue to answer those questions. What I want to see them continue to do it for a 17-game period in which we can definitely really have something to hang our hat on and to move forward to. Being said, also to take again that giant quantum leap forward where, Kevin, you guys brought up, both you and Jimmy brought up about Zach when he speaks to the media, that he calls out specific plays and he did this. I need to do better on my reads instead of having to little Sam Darnold and Adam Gase, read off of cue cards. Well, I don't know what happened. We'll have to watch the tape. Oh, I don't know what happened on this play. We'll have to watch the tape. How many more times did we actually see that? How many more times did we hear that last year than we would have liked to, where the Jets go in game after game after game and still repeatedly see the same offensive mistakes that they make week after week after week? So for me, now I get back to Jimmy's point in regards to saying, well, I could have made a couple of plays before that wouldn't have even made that 4th and 10 matter or whatever. I completely get it. But nevertheless, to me, at that point, I don't feel like as an official that anyone should be in that spot to have the game hinge on a questionable call. I felt like, call me a homer, call me whatever you want. I felt that DPI was ending by it because of all the fault, because of all the angles that I'm sorry, but no. To me, felt like that should have been the end of and that game should have never made it to overtime. But I'm happy the fact that the Jets with us overtime They went for the jugular. They did what they had to do to win the game. Is that, yeah, we're playing this game. We should be balls to the wall because we got a bye week. But again, there are still some things that I'm seeing over the past 4 weeks that I don't want to see in week 5. And one of them, again, is on the field for 70 to 75% of the game. No matter what our defense is, in the fourth quarter, when we need that stop, we need to be able to make that stop. So,
yeah.
All right, so now quickly we'll roll through our segments, and then we're going to roll into Jets Falcons, what to watch for. Kevin, who do we have in the spotlight tonight, my man?
God, I love this segment.
All right. This is kind of where it gets we're going to kind of reel it in a little bit. In the spotlight this week, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Marcus May. And peripherally, the spotlight is big enough that we're going to catch some folks that are standing behind him, and they're going to get a little bit of shine this week also. Okay. We've all heard the news. Marcus May making bonehead moves, not necessarily doing the right thing by at least reporting it to the team and to the organization and to the league and doing what it is that he's supposed to do to cover himself in a situation like this. So the reason why Marcus May in particular is in the spotlight is because he's standing in front of a couple of folks that I think are also going to be important with how this thing shakes out going forward. Now, if we recognize this was the first game that we've seen without Marcus May in the defensive backfield. Did anybody really recognize that big of a difference in how well we performed? It's difficult to say that. I'm a Marcus May fan. I personally think that he's one of the better safeties in the league. It's hard to say how that kind of shapes. But I mean, PFF had him his top 7, I think it was coming out of the last season, and it didn't really make a difference to us. We had 2 guys starting that I didn't even know who they were. I don't even know the name. Neesmith, I think, is one of them. Palmer, or I can't remember who the other guy is. But I'll just say this: they weren't liabilities enough that it cost us anything on the back end. Now, we've actually been really excited about how well our defensive secondary has played up until this point. And Mr. Jardine, who we're going to speak to in just a moment, he made a really phenomenal point earlier in the season that the Jets coaching staff, who, for all intent and purposes, were with other teams last season, and they actually have been doing the same thing that we've been seeing this defensive backfield do. They still played well with guys who weren't necessarily household names. These are guys like what Jim said, 2 years and $3 million and some change against the cap, and they haven't allowed an offensive receiving touchdown all season. What? Okay. Marcus May is a bonehead. Point blank. Period. We discussed some time ago talking about feeling like it was a reasonable expectation to believe that Joe Douglas should pay the guy. With the way things have shaken out at this point in time, I think Joe Douglas, who is now going to catch a little bit of that peripheral light, I think he's shown another genius move. Whether he knew about what was going on with Marcus May, and you got to think the NFL, I think they've got guys who, are pretty, good at being able to find out and recognize stuff like this. If he knew, and maybe that's why he lowballed him, maybe gave him an $8 million offer. Marcus May is lucky to get $8 million right now. And at this point in time, if we don't trade him, he'd be smart to take the $8 million and shut his ass up and get back in here and try to play with a team that is actually turning the corner. We are turning the corner. If you guys know what it's like to actually lean that little bit into that turn, just as you give it, we're leaning right now, and we're getting ready to take off out of the chute. That's where we're at right now. Joe Douglas knows what it is that he's doing, and the incremental things are happening right now. And we're actually starting to see that. Also, catching a little bit of that peripheral light is Marcus May's knucklehead agent, who I think maybe overplayed his hand just a little bit here by putting out the tweet and saying that he wanted Marcus May, or excuse me, indirectly hinting that Marcus May should be traded. Marcus May would be lucky right now, to get a contract from anyone. These are the types of character issues that no one wants in their locker room. And while I'm not going to say that he can't overcome it, We saw Robbie Anderson do some things that he overcame and came back from, and has been slightly productive. Even if he hasn't been superstar, he's still not been in any more trouble. And then also, and just a little sliver of light across the eye, like when you wake up and the curtain's got that little slit in it, you got that little light across the eye, the one that wakes you up. Wake up, Jamal Adams, because you right now, looking like the bum that you've been this season, you are also making this a very, very easy decision for us fans to move on from Marcus May. If, in fact, that is what Joe Douglas decides to do. Joe Douglas is playing chess. All of these other guys are playing marbles. Not even the same game, not the same board, not the same anything. Joe Douglas is starting to shine right now. This Marcus May thing is nonsensical. And to be perfectly honest with you, if he doesn't play another game for the Jets, I'm not mad. The agent, he should probably be fired. Marcus May showed some questionable decision making and hiring that guy to begin with. And I think that just kind of leads into some of the other stuff that we're seeing right now with him being stupid and basically playing himself out of a $14 million contract opportunity, which is what they were saying that he had available. They were saying there were other teams that were willing to pay him. I don't think that's the case anymore. Marcus May and all these other guys in the spotlight this week. Jim, talk to me. What do you think? Am I wilding, or what do you think?
Hey, man, and I was the one, and I freely admit this, because at the time, I wanted Marcus May
We talked
to
about
get
it.
$14 million.
We talked about it. I tried.
I did. The kid's been good. I say kid very loosely,
Right? Because he's old.
My guy's almost 30 years old. From the 39-year-old.
Right.
But hey, let's just talk. Let me talk about the core of this whole discussion first and foremost. Yes, Marcus May was a knucklehead, got a DUI. I have a DUI. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that Marcus May should lose everything because he got a DUI. People make mistakes. Mistakes shouldn't be grounds to remove a guy from his livelihood ultimately and finally. For all intents and purposes, Marcus May has learned from the incident that happened back in February. And I don't know of any subsequent issues. Do you guys know of any subsequent issues? Now, was it a dumb mistake? Sure. Was Quentin Williams trying to improperly transport a firearm through LaGuardia Airport a dumb mistake?
That was stupid too, but
sure. Quentin, not illegal. I'm a 2A. I'm a 2A advocate, as you guys know.
I got mine in the box right over there.
There you go. But I think people make mistakes, and I think that our society now is so ready to just jump on everyone and just make everyone sorry for every mistake that they've ever made, whether it's a stupid tweet from 15 years ago that may have been insensitive to one group or another, or whether it's a split-second decision to get in the car and drive after you've had just a little bit too much to drink, or whether it's I'm from Alabama and I'm going to take the firearm that I purchased legally to Mexico where people get attacked.
Right. Apples and oranges? No.
I mean, ultimately it's apples and apples because people make freaking mistakes. I almost dropped that F-bomb, CJ. I'm sorry.
I look, I've a couple times.
Okay. Now that's what I want. I went in our private chat here for Weapons Hot.
Save those bullets in the gun for after dark.
Yeah.
Well, I
save those
put,
bullets in the gun for after dark.
They'll come out, CJ. I'm telling you, they're going to come out.
Uh,
Now we have a private chat here for Weapons Hot on StreamYard where I can, we can talk to each other privately so that we kind of stay cohesive. And I said, I want to roundtable this topic from In the Spotlight. Not only do I love the segment in its entirety, but we need to talk about this. Now, Marcus May made a mistake, guys, and he needs to be given the opportunity. What has he ever done to not warrant some forgiveness?
He'll get some forgiveness. He just won't get the money.
Fair. He won't get the money. I'm not saying that we need to make him the highest paid safety in the NFL now. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that whether Joe Douglas knew about it or not, I think that Joe Douglas understands that this franchise is at a point in time like okay, so Joe Douglas, right? Because you put him in the spotlight a little bit, Kev. So I'm gonna kind of elaborate on this.
Let's talk about it.
CJ, I apologize for taking so much time on this, but
you're good. Keep going.
Month number 1 to month number 18, Joe Douglas cleans house. Okay. Month number 18 to month number 30, that's another 12 months. Joe Douglas establishes a foundation. Now that takes us up to 2022. Now we get to enjoy the Joe Douglas adding the fire to the roster.
Yeah.
Right? Now, whether Joe Douglas knew about Marcus May's issues or not, as much as I've advocated for Marcus May to get paid or not, I can't even say or not. I straight up advocated for him to get paid. But
dude, we all did. We all did.
I know, but I was
the reason why he didn't get paid is because his agent is a jackass. If his agent would keep his friggin' mouth shut, this kid would be locked, sealed, and delivered already. That's the reason why this kid got paid.
I welcome the fire, CJ.
Plain
but
and simple. Stop beating around the bush. Call it what it is.
I have fire for his agent coming, man. My point is right now for Joe Douglas, Marcus May is not the premier position to start paying. Why do you think John Franklin Myers just got an extension and not Marcus May? Because John Franklin Myers is in the trenches. That's why. Okay? Establish the trenches. Establish the foundation. That's the priority. Marcus May is not in a premier spot. Now, let's throw some agents under the bus because I know CJ's chomping at the bit to hear this, okay? I know you are, man.
Mm-hmm.
We now know why Marcus May's agent was going so hard into the paint before May got tagged. Now we know. That's why he was on Joe Douglas's case about not paying his best player months ago. That's why. Because he knew this was about to come out, and he wanted that contract signed, sealed, delivered before that came out, and it didn't happen. Joe Douglas is a genius, and this, I'm going to give it back to you, CJ, but this is going to come up in the front office segment in just a couple minutes, baby.
I'm ready for that, boy.
Get some. CJ, let's hear it.
And speaking of the front office, it's time to turn the reins over to Jimmy the Reaper.
No. First, CJ. No. CJ, I gotta stop you there. I gotta stop you there. I need to hear
I need to hear this one
on this in the spotlight segment, my friend.
Drop the junk.
Okay.
Wise guys aren't on tonight.
All right. Church is open, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Exactly. We got to do our thing. All right. So church is open. And Father CJ is here to give you all some knowledge and a little bit of wisdom. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. The paper's in the house.
I gotta put the camera up.
The
Right,
paper
right.
is in the house.
Let's go. Let's go.
And here's what I have to say in regards to agents when it comes to opening their mouths in regards to their clients. I understand that it's an agent's responsibility to go out and try to get the most any particular given time. Totally agree with that. Totally respect that 110%. I also agree that the National Football League has probably one of the lowest career rates for players within the NFL. So which means you have a limited window to make as much money as you possibly can for the rest of your life, given the circumstance of how much you are putting your life and your physical well-being on the line to play this game. Again, 100% respect that. But here's the thing. When you are an agent and you decide to take contract negotiations into the court of public opinion, i.e. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever your vehicle of choice is, you, my friend, become the ultimate dick. Why? Because there are some places where contract negotiations should never take place. And the media is the number one at the top list. Ask any person who does business 101, any person who has ever had their own personal business. Okay, one of the things that you will never do is you never take contract negotiations into the media. Okay, anything that gets discussed stays behind closed doors, plain and simple. Like, I don't have the right to pocket any more than Jimmy has the right to get into, just like Kevin doesn't have the right to get into my pocket. So which means, do I have the right, if I'm an agent, to go on social media and start pissing and moaning about what Jimmy's taking home after taxes? No, I don't, because it's none of my business. That's why. So when an agent and air his client's dirty laundry and sit there and take pot shots at the team that's signing him, like Jamal Adams did, like Jamal Adams' representation did, and that's the reason why Jamal Adams is not here anymore.
Jamal himself did.
Okay? The scorched earth approach does not work. And especially does not work with one New York Jets general manager in Joe Douglas. Yeah. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why Marcus May has not gotten paid. That, not because Marcus May sucks, not because Joe Douglas doesn't think Marcus May is a good player, not because Joe Douglas does not respect Marcus May. And you know what? I really don't even give a shit about the DUI. And yeah, I know I'm going off script, and I'm sorry. The Worldwide Sports Radio.
That's on topic. That's on topic. Let's go.
All right,
that's
but
on
you know
topic.
what? Okay, but you know what? The reason why Marcus May does not have a contract extension right now and why he has not made to that second contract is his agent is talking out of his ass. His agent is trying to get him paid through the court of public opinion. And Joe Douglas is a very short fuse with stuff like that. So the more you do that, the more you're going to screw your client out of money, because Joe Douglas will just a round pick somewhere will give him a contract extension because he's going to acquiesce to the agent's demands. So if Marcus May is smart, you fire your agent, you get a new one, okay? And you basically tell your agent you're going to negotiate with the Jets, and whatever the Jets are going to offer, you take. Now, I'm not saying that Joe Douglas, Marcus May of the water, okay? It may be a lot of Perignon, okay? But if he gets a nice champagne in the middle, then I'm sure Marcus May is going to be very happy. John Franklin Myers just got a contract, 4 years, $40 million, 20 of it guaranteed. No reason in the world why Marcus May get a similar contract.
Yeah.
30 million guaranteed.
So was it 30 million
total?
40 million?
Yeah. It was what, 40, 45 or 30, something like that. 30 million guaranteed.
30 million guaranteed. I think it was like 50 something, 55.
Yeah. Like I thought it was 13 and change a year or something like that, right?
It was
13,
like something like 13.
Look, but for that guy, that's, come on now. he would have got more than that if he would have hit free agency. There's no way.
John
possible that he
Franklin
wouldn't have.
Myers, safety, Tom Brady. That's
on.
all you need to know.
Thank you. Beyond all of that, but let's
Yep.
just bring this back, because CJ, you made a great point, as you very often do.
In the Super Bowl, sorry,
yeah,
it was way late, but
What
Franklin Myers, safety, Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I'm just saying.
this is what I think Marcus May is battling with, right? Because Jamal Adams is going to end up being paid, and I'm sure he's happy with the check, but he's going to be on a team that's not as good as the Jets, right? He's going to be getting paid. He's going to be getting embarrassed on national TV. He's going to be getting paid, but he's going to be on a scrub team.
Yeah, but Kev, Seattle is on pace to have the are you? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you ready?
This thing on?
The worst passing defense in NFL history,
with the highest paid safety ever.
With the highest paid safety, $17.5 million a year, and you're going to see this guy jog across the field after Deshaun Jackson catches a ball in front of him.
Deshaun Jackson, Long Beach Poly Jackrabbit in the house. Right. First and foremost. First and foremost. Yeah. Look, this is something that I think, again, is why I'm saying what it is that I say about Marcus May, because we have an opportunity here, right? You kind of have to see the writing on the wall. He's going to go to a team, and whatever team it is that's in a position to pay Marcus May $13-14 million, they're probably not going to be good enough to be where it is that we're going to be by the time he finishes that contract.
I think they need Marcus May,
and they're not
at a first-round draft pick. I'll say it right now. Marcus May trade value is going to be a first-round draft pick. Mark it.
You
take
think?
It to the bank. Take.
I would hope so. Look, that
was just my bad, CJ. Take it to the effing bank.
That would solidify that I'm going to get a statue of Joe Douglas and place it in my living room.
Dude, I would.
I'm telling you right now, like
I would do the same thing.
I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna rub its head every morning. I'm gonna go to work.
I would have a house built,
right,
with
Joe's
that
house.
being a
centerpiece,
a make or break contract feature.
Right,
is you're gonna put a bronze statue of Joe Douglas in my front yard.
I need the statue of him with the waves and with the big chain on too. Like
you take
Joe Douglas.
Joe
Douglas can't miss.
You take 2 safeties and you get 3 first-round draft picks for him.
Come on, man. And look, there was such a weird, kind of dichotomy with that too, because we were talking about, why would you draft safeties back to back, like first and second round? Why would you do that? And then it just
they were like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and it just translates into that stupid ass move is going to end up being what. Look, that's gonna give us half our offensive line. If you think about it,
does that make Mike McCagnon our best GM ever?
No. That just makes Joe Douglas better at what he does, is because he was able to capitalize on the nonsense that knucklehead was doing. Look, Marcus May, for all intents and purposes, again, we have to give him his props. He's a good safety, right? We played awesome football with guys we don't even know. We don't know who these guys are. We have no clue who these guys are.
The sideline, bro.
Most of the game, like
Lamarcus Joyner on the sideline, and we have allowed 3 receiving touchdowns all year.
Niesman made a play towards the end of the game that just made me say, all right, this is why Robert Saleh's here. This is exactly why this guy is our head coach, because this is what it is that they can do. Ulbrich deserves a ton of credit. Saleh deserves a ton of credit. Jim, you deserve some credit for calling it the way that you saw it, my man. And I was skeptical, but I was like, yo, look, if they believe that they can play with these guys, I'm good with it. And now I see why.
No, you and me need to be on ESPN. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, bro.
We'd be better than some of them cats up there. Look, Stephen A.
I told everybody.
Stephen A needs to be fired.
Yeah, he does, bro.
I
told everybody. I said, I said it on Weapons Hot. I said it on my channel. I said it on Green Bean's channel.
Yeah.
I said it on Matt O'Leary's channel.
Yeah.
I said, don't be scared
Mhm.
of our secondary. Don't be scared of these guys. These guys are costing us $3 million, and they're going to be good. They're,
Yeah.
What else can I say? I said they're going to be good.
We get ready to cross that
And guess
line.
what? Guess what, folks? Guess what, Scott Calispi? They're good.
What's up, Scott?
I told you. I was called crazy.
Type it in the
Come on.
chat.
Yeah, Jim, you get ready to cross that line.
I got my feet kicked out. I got my feet kicked out, and I'm chilling.
Come on, CJ, where we at?
Man.
All right. Well, all right. So let's talk over here, Jimmy. I think we kind of covered your segment and then some. So
well, I got
We had to talk about-
not really, actually, not really.
Yeah, bring it
really.
back though. Bring it back because I'm gonna be honest. This is my favorite segment right now.
And I'm about to make that way even more favoriter.
well, we still got to talk Jets Falcons. So
we will talk Jets Falcons. I only need 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm quick on that too.
We'll save that for after dark. It's a tease for after dark.
Are we doing after dark tonight?
Okay. All right. So.
No.
Yeah,
I'm asking.
Do
I'm
after
asking
dark
seriously.
tonight,
Are we doing after dark tonight?
I have something to do.
Next week.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm good with that.
We are.
I'm good with that.
Wait. CJ, there's a lag. CJ, are we doing after dark tonight?
Yes. The word is yes.
I will save
Yes.
in the.
You want me to write it in the chat?
for after dark?
No, we're good. Let's go.
Let's go.
We good. So, Jets Falcons, guys. 3 keys
Guys
to
are in for
victory.
a treat, baby.
All right, Jimmy, we'll start with you, then we'll go to Kevin.
All right.
Let's rock and roll.
3 keys to a Jets victory against Atlanta. Well, let's just talk about what our keys to victory. Kev, we talked about this last week.
Yes.
What did I say, Kev? I said that our defense needs to get after Ryan Tannehill, right?
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah, check.
Same thing.
What did I say? I said our defense needs to contain the Tennessee running game, which is Derrick Henry, right? That was number 2.
Yep.
Check.
Yep. Gotta do that.
Yeah, I think we did that. Because I mentioned that because I want to highlight. Can we talk about Quincy Williams, like standing Derrick Henry up
multiple
and
times,
stuffing that guy?
multiple times,
Not once,
multiple,
not twice,
multiple,
but thrice.
Yeah.
Quincy Williams, man.
Quincy showed up, man. And y'all know I had some questions about Quincy too, because I still think he's a little suspect in coverage. But I'll be honest with you, you're not running the ball like that on us. I'm going to be honest with you. Derrick Henry is an anomaly in himself, and him having 150 yards is kind of a foregone conclusion. But he wasn't
cheat code.
Yeah, he wasn't really the dominant factor that they needed him to be.
No.
And I'm just going to be honest. We're going to give Quincy some props, but CJ Mosley was on him.
Yes,
the interior line was on him. I
bring up Quincy. I bring up Quincy
because
of this. Yeah. Because Quincy Williams and Quinnen Williams became the first brother tandem to get a sack on the same team in the same game.
Love it.
And those boys got 3.
Bald. Look, I'm gonna just jump on this quick because
please.
My 3 keys are, I think I'm gonna take your lead on this because they're the same thing. We need to see Matt LaFleur open up a little bit. We need to see Zach again display why it is that he was the number 2 pick. And in the Matt LaFleur thing, I would again just reiterate, I think we're going to need to run the ball a little bit better. But then also we're going to need to contain.
66 yards is not a good,
it's not good. And I'll be honest with you, Zach is a good player. I think we're starting to see that take shape. But I think that running game is really, and especially when we start to get towards the end of the season, that running game is going to be what's necessary for him to really kind of shine. And also, because those are my first two. My number 3 was last week again. We need to control Derrick Henry, and I said last week that we just couldn't let him have. We couldn't let him have a ridiculous game. Right? He had a decent game, but
157 yards and a touchdown. Like that is elite. But we talk about Derrick Henry, and they're like, wow, the Jets contained him
against us, and we're the low hanging fruit. They're still picking us to be bad every game. They're still picking us to be bad every game. So all right, so my third again is still going to be we need to control the run game, but I think it's more we're going to need to control their running backs. And I say that specifically because the screen game still kind of gives us a little bit of trouble. Yeah, they've got Cordell Patterson. They've got what's the guy Mike whatever. I look, Cordell Patterson is a different animal than Derrick Henry because he is such a
Bryce
threat.
Hall put him down. I'm not worried about that at all.
I was loving that too. I just think that's part of what it is that we need to do. We need to scheme that. We need to game plan that. It needs to be part of what it is that we do. And if we do that, we win.
I mean, take Cordell Patterson out of the game,
and we win.
And we win. I think like what my third is. None of this has anything to do with the offense. I think that everything LaFleur and Wilson can do, they just need to do.
That's it.
Just go do your thing, but do it for 4 freaking quarters. I almost
can't come
again,
we
CJ.
can't come out
God,
flat.
I've been drinking too much.
We cannot come out flat. We can't. We can't afford it.
The defense is all 3 for me. All 3. Okay. Now, the defense, they contained the best running back in the NFL, Derrick Henry. They did. They contained the second best running back in the NFL, Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry have combined for 250 rushing yards and 1 touchdown against the New York Jets defense. Can we talk about that, please?
2 of their very best at what they do. And you can't run on the Jets, really. I'm just going to keep it real. Or you're not going to be as effective as you might like to be in that case.
Less than 250 rushing yards and 1 touchdown.
For guys who do that in their sleep.
For guys that get 2 or 3 touchdowns a game.
Not against us.
Not us.
Look, there's a reason why our defense is ranked the way it is.
My third and final, and I want to get CJ in on this too. My third and final is we made I'm not going to call Tannehill a mobile quarterback. I'll call him elusive. Okay, because Tannehill can bend, he can move, he can get out of the way of pressure. He can
get sacks. He can get sacked 7 times is what he can do.
But he can't against us. What?
Sacked 7 times. Pressured all day.
That is against a number 1, a good offensive.
Smack that ass.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
Atlanta has a dumpster fire turnstile offensive line. And they have a 40-some-year-old quarterback who can't move. Matty Ice can't move.
It bodes well for us. It looks good. It looks good. I'd say
I'm calling another 5 sacks on Matty Ice, 2 interceptions.
At least. The interceptions is where I was going to go next, and I'm glad that you did that because I actually think it's going to be more than that. I think our linebackers are going to get one. I think our linebackers are going to get one because he's going to be forcing the ball to Kyle Pitts.
I'm a conservative. I say 2.
Well, look, and look, I'm not mad at that because I think that it's going to come down to if our guys can actually catch the ball. And we saw Quincy Williams, kind of whiff on a couple, and I don't want to knock him for this too tough, but if he keeps his eyes up, there were 2 balls that I think that are possible for him to pick off, and if nothing else, at least retain possession. I'm not going to say he has an opportunity for a pick 6, but I think that he did on that one to the running back. But I think that our linebackers are going to need to show up this game, and they've been showing up, but this week in particular, especially because there's no Calvin Ridley, because their wide receivers are already suspect as it stands. They are going to try to force the ball to Kyle Pitts, and I think that if we play good defense against Kyle Pitts, I think that we're going to have some opportunities for some takeaways. CJ, you want to go ahead and wrap this segment up?
Absolutely. So my 3 keys to victory: number 1, defense again needs to continue its tough play against the Falcons offense. Now the Falcons offense, a couple of PP, but you know what? They're still going to be trying to force the ball again to Kyle Pitts. Pitts can do a lot of different things. I saw him do a lot of different things at the University of Florida. So he can be a very dangerous weapon to contain. So as long as we can limit the damage that Kyle Pitts is going to be able to inflict, and if somebody else is going to have to be that guy, let it be somebody else. But the Jets needs to continue to play and take advantage of the fact that really Matt Ryan is not a mobile quarterback to be able to make him flush out of the pocket, make him scramble, force him into bad decisions. He is turnover prone, so we can definitely force him into some bad reads and hopefully get some turnovers on that. My second key to victory is New York Jets need to establish that run game.
Yes.
You need to dominate that line of scrimmage and be able to dictate the pace of play with that game. I'm going to see a little bit of better time of possession in our favor, especially being able to kind of move the ball down the field, methodically move the chains. Zach Wilson with the easy throws, again, just throwing the ball on a string. He needs to just let go of the string and just be a little bit more confident and precise with those throws. But I think he can definitely do that. Again, he took a lot of steps in the right direction against the Tennessee Titans. I want to see that progress again continue against the Atlanta Falcons. And my number 1 key victory, very plain, very simple. Defensive line, keep Zach Wilson upright, let him be able to deliver the ball to our weapons downfield, and let this offense continue to build off of the success that they established last week against Tennessee. I want to see a more consistent and balanced offense. I don't want to see a lot of 3 and outs. We can't have 5 straight drives of 3 and outs. We can't have our defense do in the first half what we saw against the Tennessee Titans, the Atlanta Falcons.
Those drives, by the way, CJ, I don't mean to interrupt you. I don't mean to interrupt you. But the 2 scoring drives that we had were 176 yards. The 5 other drives, 20 yards total.
Yeah.
That cannot happen again.
That's where Mike LaFleur has to kind of let it go a little bit. You know what I mean?
Man.
He has to. Look,
right.
CJ, you again, you're touching upon some things that I think are extremely important for our progress, right? We can't come out flat at all. We cannot afford to do that. Because for all intent and purposes, Matt Ryan, who, I know they're saying he's getting a little long in the tooth, but as far as quarterbacks are concerned, stuff like that only makes them more dangerous, right? It doesn't make them washed per se, because I don't think he's washed, but I think that he's an extremely smart player who, is going to be down some weapons, but who knows how to get it done. I mean, it's not like they haven't been in the Super Bowl. It's not like it's not like he hasn't been, a upper level quarterback, for his entire career almost. I don't think he's a superstar anymore, and I don't think that he should strike fear in the heart of a defense that has, kind of done what it is that we've done so far this season. But we can't sleep on him either. Right? We can't just expect that, we're going to be able to just completely neutralize him. I think we have to be smart about what we do, and there has to be at least a regulated level of kind of concern about what it is that he's going to do. I don't want us to sleep. I don't think we're there yet, and I think that is where young teams actually have their letdowns. And we need to play focus this game. Period. We need to play focus.
But our defensive line is there. That's my point.
I'm mad at that.
Our defensive line is there. And if we can take Tennessee's offensive line and we can sack Ryan Tannehill seven times, then I can put 5 on Matty Ice.
It might be more than that. Might be more than that too.
It very well may be.
I think John Flanker-Myers is going to try to justify that contract. If you saw if you saw the press conference today, it's really difficult to not root for this guy. I think
he is a consummate professional, and I think that he needs to be a Jet for life at this point.
We might make it happen. Look, I also think
I don't have the fear of Atlanta, and here's why. Okay, because number one, Atlanta's defense. Okay, now you're coming off of a Jets offense that just it just clicked. Okay, it just clicked. Every single player on that offense, from the trenches, from the running backs, even though you talk about the running backs, we only got 66 yards rushing. I get that, okay? But you're talking about an offense that everything, like they saw what happened on the field and they're like, okay, that gets us points. We get points when we do that.
Yeah, let's do that again.
Right? Now, you take that offense and you put them against the 32nd ranked red zone scoring defense, the 32nd ranked passing defense, and the 32nd ranked overall scoring defense. This Jets offense could not ask for a better game going into the bye week.
This team in particular presents itself. This team in particular, it presents itself as being the best opportunity for us to really have a huge breakout game. Right?
Let me just tell you how confident I am. I
don't want to be confident. I'm nervous. I don't want to be confident.
I know you're nervous, Kev, but let me tell you how confident I am. You know how big into fantasy I am.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Are you ready for this? I need you guys to look at me.
Come on.
Look at me.
All right, come on, because we're up against it.
Two of my fantasy leagues, 2 out of the 3. I have Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback. Okay. Both of those leagues, I have started Zach Wilson this week.
That means something. He's going to eat. Corey Davis eats. Elijah Moore eats.
I'm telling you guys.
Where the hell is Braxton Berrios?
Do not be scared of this game.
Wow. Yeah.
Do not be scared of this game.
I just don't want us to come out flat, man.
Embrace the joy of being a Jets fan, man.
I want to be so confident. Zach I really Wilson. Do. We've come out flat so many times, and I mean, again, we're still dealing with a young coaching staff.
No, we've turned the corner.
We're getting it. We're still leaning.
Kool-Aid.
We're still leaning.
I am the purple Teletubby.
The purple Teletubby.
Wow.
Purple Teletubby.
Okay.
Wait a second. I thought you were the purple Care Bear or something like that because he calls Kevin Waffles all the time. So.
Right. Look. Jim, you got a little Kool-Aid, right? You got a little Kool-Aid, right? you got a little Kool-Aid, right? You got a little Kool-Aid right there.
You got a little one right Come on, guys. Let's
All
go
right.
out of here. All right. For tonight's episode of West Side of New York Jets fan broadcast on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, I want to thank everyone in the chat and everyone who watched this live this evening. And be sure, if you have not had the opportunity to go and check it out, please go check. Again, special thanks to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We absolutely love you guys. Follow the show on Twitter, NC Jets Factor. Follow me at JetsFan0523. My partners in crime on the other side of the glass, Jimmy the Reaper Jardine at Jets by Jimmy, and Mr. Kevin Jackson at Spotty Black. Ladies, be sure to write that in the black book.
Oh,
and also, don't forget to go to the Facebook page, Weapons Hot Facebook page, hit that like button. Message you right back. We love going back and forth about this team. Also, leave us some feedback about how we're doing here on Weapons Hot. If you think we're great, you love the show, great. Leave us a comment, leave us a like, leave us a rating. If you think we suck and we know nothing about football, that's fine too. Go ahead and leave it. We love interacting with fans of all types. And of course, don't forget to go to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Go to the Facebook page, like the Facebook. Download the app. If you have an Android, go to Google Play. Have an Apple, you have an iPhone, go to the iOS store and search WWSRN. You'll be able to not only consume Weapons Hot, but also the other tremendous shows on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And of course, last but certainly not least, don't forget to check out Weapons Hot on YouTube.com. Weapons Hot After Dark, that is the exclusive home, which will be airing shortly after tonight's broadcast on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And we've got a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack, and we're all going to grind it down into a fine powder, all the minutia for all of you out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Kevin Jackson and Jimmy the Reaper Jar, I'm your host, C.K. D. Simone, signing off. We will see you guys when we see you guys. Peace. Exclusive content.
Jets. Jets.
Yes. Gotta love it.